Good day, everyone, and I hope you are doing good. So, my name is Femi Belai, and I'm an Android engineer. So, for those new to my channel, I talk about the Android basic. Well, let me say everything regarding Android in general to enlighten the junior engineers entering into Android development or those who are beginners in Android development in general. Actually, do. And today, right, we'll be talking about activity and activity life cycle. Now, I'm going to make this practical that even you that are just getting into Android today will be able to understand how this works, right? So let's get into what activity is. Now, I'm going to make it practical. Activity, right, is just like you opening your phone for the first time, and the first screen, which is the splash screen you see, is the first activity on your phone. So it's almost like saying, when building a mobile app, your splash screen is an activity, your login screen is an activity, sign up screens are activity, dashboard are activity. So in a very nutshell, your app is just like a room, right? An activity is just like the screen in the room, which is what the room. Sorry, let me get me this very well. Your app is like an house. Yeah, let me use that. Let me use that. Your app is like an house. Then the activity is like a room in that house. I hope you understand that, right? So that is what activity is all about, though. Each screen on your mobile application is an activity. So it's just as simple as that. And for a very prime example of how activity works or what activity is, right? So we could actually like use this instance here as well too. This here is an activity. So this here is the base class for activities. This class mean activity, component activity. Yeah, this is a base class for an activity. So this here is the first cycle code. Like onCreate is also an activity as well too. So this is the first cycle method called. So in activity life cycle there are steps like there are from the first to the I think fifth or something, right? But we'll get into that and we will get to see that. So this is the first activity being called. You know, your a default mobile template for Kotlin, right? This is how it is normally wherever you have your hello Android. So this is the first instance being created already here. So this is an activity lifecycle here. This onCreate is an activity lifecycle, and this here we have our UI. So let's talk about what activity lifecycle is. So for activity lifecycle, right, you need to understand this. Activity goes from creation to destruction. Right. So you create an activity, you can also destroy an activity, and you can also pause an activity as well. Too. For example, when you're on a Google Meet call and a call from someone just came in, right? You notice your you start losing signals and the likes, right? So at that instance, Google Meet we actually like have like pause, right? So that is what activity lifecycle is talking about too. So there are stages to it. When you create, for example, I said before that when you open your app for the first time, that is you creating an activity, right? That is you creating an activity screen. So you can actually post an activity screen by, for example, a call coming in, right? The Google Meet you are into will pause, right, for you to like either decline or accept that call for you to like continue. So there are stages, like I said before, to this activity life cycle actually, and we should talk about now. So here are the stages for activity life cycle. So this here is what I said initially, right? The activity launched. Yeah, yeah. So this is the activity launched here. This is the activity launched here. This is when you launch your app for the first time. This is what occurs, right? So when you launch your app for the first time, we have an on create, right? So an on-create is just like it's just like you creating an activity for that app, like I explained initially, when you open your app for the first time, an activity is being created for your screen to display on and the likes, right? So on start, right? On start is just like when this is when the activity becomes visible. You know, when you create an activity, you have to like still see what is in that activity. So when we have our first instance there, which is when we create an activity here, at here our activity starts, which is when we start seeing our UI display and the likes, right? So for onResume as well too, right? So when you get to the screen, right, your app is resuming on that screen, especially when you are using that activity screen um actively actually do. So this here is the first sequence that happen. This tree happens first when an app is being launched. Your app is created, then it starts the UI, then it resume on that screen. So after your activity has been launched, there are also other activities as well too, right? Which is on pause, right? After your activity is running, another activity comes into the fore background. So for example, when you minimize your phone, actually do the app that you are on pauses instantly, and when you resume back to to that app, right, it resumes back. You can see as the arrow is going right. When you minimize it, it pauses. But when you resume, like when you click on it back, it resumes back to that app, right? So here, when you minimize it and close it, right, it stops. When you minimize it and close it for you, all this we will do practical example for you to like understand what I'm saying. So when you minimize the app and closes it, it stops. So when you minimize it back and come back to that app, as you can see here, it restarts and you start here again, on start again, right? It on restarts, then it on start here, then it resumes activity again. So now here, when you pause, when you stop, and for example, when you no longer need the app and you feel like, okay, let me just quit the app, then it destroys, right? So this is the last sequence for activity. So these three runs at first, which is on create, on start, and on resume. This is what happens when your app is being launched, right? After this, when you minimize your app, or for example, when the call is coming in, like I said initially, right? When the call comes in, this takes into precedence, right? It pauses when you minimize your app. When you go back to the app, it resumes again, right? So when you minimize your app and leaves it, like leave the app totally, it stops, right? And when you quit the app what it destroys. So that's why I said um activity lifecycle goes from creation to what, to destruction. So let's have some live practical example of how this works. So, like I said before, right, we have our own create here already. But for you to like really get what I'm talking about, so we have to like still take it one by one. So we have, let's go with override fun on create. Yeah, let's use on create for now. Yeah, the on create. Sorry, on create. Sorry. Yeah, I think that should be on start or something, right? Yeah, we have our on create already, so let's use on start for the first time. Since we already have it, we can actually like demo it. So give me a minute, let me check this out. Oh, okay, let's do something like print here, println the app is being created. Yeah, so it's been created here. So yeah, let's say the app is being started. So these are the levels. Like okay, let me come back here. So these are the levels I'm talking about: the on create, on start, on resume, on pause, on stop, and on destroy. So we have like test how all these works, right? So here we have our on start already. So next we'll be having is our on resume over right fun on resume yeah, on resume. So let's log it. The app is being resumed. Okay, we have our override phone onPause. Yeah, unit onPause. Yeah, the app is being paused. Override phone onStop. onStop. Okay, yeah, the app is being stopped. And I think we have override, which is, I think that's the last one. Phone on destroy. Yeah, the app is being destroyed. Yeah. So we have all these already. Now we just have to like launch our mobile app so as to see all this. So let me just set this up. So yeah, I already connected it. And I mean we will get to see how okay we have our system out already here. So we get to see how all this works here, right? So you can see this is my mobile app here. Yeah, this is my mobile app here. Okay. Mhm. So we just have to like give it some few minutes for it to start working. Okay, I think it's launching. As you can see here as well, to right, it says the app is being created, the app has started, and the app has what has resumed. Like I said initially, right? When you open the app for the first time, we have this TV instance being launched instantly, right? So we have created, started, and resumed. Now let's try and minimize our app here. Now I'm trying to minimize it. So you can see it says paused and stop, right? Now in this place, it pauses and stop. Now if I click on it back, so you see immediately I click on it back, it started and resumed. The reason why it is not starting from uncreated is because it has been created initially, right? So for it to be created again, it has to be destroyed. So can you get that? Do you get that? So okay, let me try. Let's try and just like leave the app. You can see it has been destroyed here already, right? So if I come back to the app again, to start again, it's created, started, and resumed. I hope you get the sequence. Or let us do this. Let us do this again. Okay, let me leave the app. Okay, wait. Let me destroy it. Yeah, let me destroy it. Then let me come to the app. Yeah, you see, started and resumed. Right. Yeah, I think this post. Right. Hmm. Give me a minute here. Yeah. So yeah. So let it launch first. Right. So you can see it created, it started, and it resumed. Right. When we minimize it, it paused and stopped. Right. So when we go back again, it started and what and it resumed on the screen. Like it started the screen and resumed the screen. So when I leave the app totally, it destroys what it destroys the screen. So this is all what activity lifecycle is all about, an activity itself. So I hope this video and this explanation is well explained enough that to give you an edge, and also hope you understand the concept of what activity is and how activity lifecycle works. And if you are asked outside or in an interview, you'll be able to like give a satisfactory answer and with examples if possible, or demonstrate how it works to maybe your interviewers or someone you are trying to like make explain how activity and activity lifecycle works in Android development. Yeah, thank you once again. My name is Femi Galari. Please do subscribe to my channel, do like and do comment on things you felt like I left out on the likes, because I mean, man, I'm not an island of knowledge actually. Do so. Yeah, thank you for watching and God bless you.